But the problem I have here is normally I would have thought that she would have gone after a straight self-defense deal. He was attacking me.
Oh yeah, the affirmative defense. That's I must say that's gamble to say the least,
Well,
because you're basically trying to get free, or like drop the charges on technicality in the law.
well, you have to
Which,
admit that
yeah,
that the elements of those crime are true. So yeah,
yeah,
I did intentionally try to kill him. Yeah,
yeah.
you have to admit that. And of course, there's the gamble. Maybe this is plan B,
Hmm.
but they're not banking on this for plan A. In plan A, they're basically going after the safe harbor rule,
Yeah,
which basically they're making the claim that she has a license to kill
yeah.
because of the fact that she had a trafficking relationship with him. I don't think the appellate court is going to
No,
go for that.
that's. I must say, from my perspective, it basically doesn't make sense, even because the purpose of the law, as far as I understand it, it was basically to protect the people being trafficked from the law, from the crimes that they were forced by their trafficker into. And I don't see how Mr. Waller would be forcing her to, like, basically kill him, not like on with his will. I mean, obviously he could force her by attacking her, but then again, you would go with self-defense.
Yeah, the basic idea behind the safe harbor is that it's kind of hard to help women who have found themselves
Yes,
in these situations if you're going to lock them
yes,
up and for doing it. And so the idea is that we'll just give them a free buy on any crimes that they have committed as a result of this prostitution.
hmm,
And that will allow us, to do investigations of maybe more serious matters or things like that.
yeah,
And it was never designed, I'm sure of it, it was never
yeah,
designed to allow people to just kill each other. Because ultimately, I think that the appellate court has got to think about the long-term effects of if they agree with her. I mean, it becomes open season on pimps. And hey, I'm not a fan of pimps,
yeah,
but you, I don't know of anywhere where you can just go after somebody and kill them because of some relationship they have with you, or whatever wrongs you've had with them in the past. We just don't allow that. I
yeah.
mean, that's just something just don't do in this country or most countries. You at what point does it become? I think that you charge too much for that meal. Blam, 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 and it just opens up a can of worms here.
Yeah.
Just because you're a pimp doesn't mean that you get to be murdered. Essentially.
It's one thing, and the other is it basically this extrajudicial killing is immensely dangerous because people are, well, not law scholars, like the general public. So there could be, for example, women that could think someone is their pimp, basically someone is their trafficker, and that actually not be the case. So you could be
Oh, yeah.
ending up with lots of innocent people dead.
Oh, sure. Sure thing. I mean, ultimately, if a person is a pimp and they have done something horrible to you, we have a court system designed to remedy that. You're not allowed to take the law in your own hands. But
Yeah.
the safe harbor thing that they're looking at here, the way they're describing it, that is exactly what that would be. It would be being able to take the law in your own hands. I don't give her any chance on that one.
Yeah.
And if they do, that's going to probably go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Because that's insane.
Truly.
To set a precedent. I mean, right now it's only in the state appeals court. The next thing would be to take it to a U.S. district court, which means it would be setting precedent for essentially the country. I don't see it happening. I think that the appeals court justices are going to say no way.
And for her case specifically, I think she would have greater chances with jury, just basically with her story, etc., where they would feel, I'm sure they would, just on a humane factor, they would feel immensely sorry for her because her story is tragedy. Truly, it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
she's going to hope that there's going to be a few jurors on there that are just simply not going to go with a conviction and going to hold their ground. And you get a mistrial at that point, maybe the state will just lose interest in it. I don't see, well, I don't have access to all the evidence. Maybe there's enough evidence there for her to get off, but
Yeah.
right now it just doesn't look good.
Yeah. I would just to our viewers, we obviously just speculating and talking about it. We don't have any true insights and stuff like that. Just what we have from newspaper.
All we know is what the people
Yeah.
have been saying, right?
Yeah.
We both have read up on it. There's probably not much else out there that we haven't seen that is in the public view. Obviously, the people involved are going to have a lot more evidence than we have.
Yeah.
We don't even really know what went on inside that room, but I have a feeling that the prosecution probably does.
Yeah. And here, just I'm kind of worried about what this whole thing will bring. Also, when you contrast it with Kyle, because I mean, for example, I highly doubt that majority of the BLM supporters and stuff like that, they will bother to find out what legal strategy her defense team went with, that it basically doesn't make sense, etc., etc., and they will see only racism in there. And the, pardon me, but the shitstorm that will kick off, it will be crazy.
Yeah, they're going to, here's the level of sophistication they're going to employ. She's black. She's claimed self-defense.
Yep.
She was convicted. Kyle is claiming self-defense. He's white. Why shouldn't he be convicted? That is at the most the level of sophistication they're going to be able to employ, because they're not going to know much more about Chrystul Kizer because they're ignorant.
Plus, Kyle used the evil, like a dev gun, like AR-15.
Oh, well, yeah, and that's another thing. I don't know about you, but that pistol that she used, it killed old Randall Volar deader than dead.
Yeah.
It didn't matter to Randall Volar if that was an AR-15 or not. It was plenty. And so in the whole scheme of things, there's no difference between those two rifles or those two firearms, except hers was much more illegal than Kyle's.
Yeah.
I mean, hers is a federal offense. I mean, at least he has an argument that he could have carried that in public. I don't know if that's going to carry the day. I have a whole couple of videos on that, but at least there could be an argument made that his carrying of that rifle was legal. There is no argument for her. Yeah. That is a handgun. She had no way she should have had that with her, at least from a legal standpoint. Now, from an ethical standpoint, moral standpoint, if she needed it to protect herself, I'm good with it.
Yes.
And frankly, I'm a pro Second Amendment person. I don't think that either Kyle or her should have had any problems with having those guns, but the law doesn't agree with it. But certainly in terms of just pure the legal issue, she's in much more trouble. And it's kind of odd because not much has been made about that. But with Kyle, you saw it. Kid carried an AR-15 rifle, and they just go ballistic. But when they talk about Chrystul Kizer, the fact that she had a handgun in her purse and pulled it out and shot somebody, that handgun use seems to be kind of suppressed in the news a lot,
because it's not scary. The firearm, and which, by the way, for self-defense, you actually want scary weapon for one simpler reason: you pull it out, you scare away your attacker. That's the best case scenario. Where you, for example, use it, you shoot and you kill your attacker. That's the worst acceptable scenario when it comes to self-defense. You want to scare them away without violence.
Oh yeah, racking around in a gun that sound alone can deter crime. If Kyle had been walking around with a concealed weapon and pulled it out and shot people, what do you think would they be saying? They would have been, this was all part of his devious plot. Kyle is carrying a rifle out in front of him. He's letting him know, hey man, I am armed. And I think that should work in his favor. If he wants to kill people that night, that was a dumb way to do it. I mean, if you really want to go out and kill people, you put the gun inside a bag and walk around. And now you're looking for somebody who thinks you're unarmed. Now you could pull the gun out and shoot them. Of course, that would have been illegal, but they're claiming the AR-15 is carrying it around, around is illegal. So what difference does it make? But, and the only other weapon that could have worked for him that night would maybe have been like a shotgun. Although that would have been pretty scary looking too.